Good afternoon, folks. Today we're going to talk about how Michigan and USC, Ohio State versus Marshall game pretty much summed each other up. Ohio State pretty much kind of lackluster in the first quarter, but then they pretty much picked up the pace and pretty much corrected themselves in the rest of the game. Now, how does Ohio State improve going forward? Well, it doesn't get any easier for Ohio State. Now, if you're Michigan, there's a lot of corrections you need to do. Passing yards. 32 total passing yards. They are outgained 279, or actually I think 379 to 322 total yards. Due to 32 passing yards. Nice again. 32 passing yards. That's like our second string. Some of our second stringers did beyond better than that. Some of our second stringers were better than that. We could literally have our second string come in and overrun past that. I don't know which second stringer that was better than that, but hell, they could literally run better than that. I mean, you could literally, Alex Orji, I'm not saying he's a weak quarterback, by all means. By all means, he's a running quarterback, but the issue is here, Michigan, if you were to put the two quarterbacks in, Davis Warren, he's a passer. By all means, he's a passer. Alex Orji, he's a runner. If you were to put those two quarterbacks in the same time, we all know that would be a confusing play there. But if you were to only put one quarterback in, we know it's either a pass if Davis Warren is in, or if Alex Orji is in, it's a run. You can't disguise the play now. But if you put the two quarterbacks in, then you will confuse everybody, because if Warren comes in, he'll either hand it off to Orji, and then Orji could either pass, or have Orji come over, hand it off to Warren, and then Warren pass. I mean, there's so many things you can throw in the mix there. I mean, you can literally disguise the whole thing. But there's so many things that need corrected here for Michigan that is beyond what I can actually say. I myself am not a Michigan fan whatsoever, but I could have easily corrected all those mistakes that they made. Michigan almost lost that game. Now, how they could have easily been lost, 19 for USC. I don't even know how to say this. He had Mullins in his grasp. So many missed tackles. He had him in his grasp. Then, 7 overcorrected himself and lost his grasp on him. Tackled. You take away the pick 6. You take away the negative yardage. 96 total rushing yards for USC. But you take away the negative plays. You take away the negative 27 yards. They got over 100 They got over 100 yards. I have to write the stats down because I can't really think straight when I don't have the stats in front of me. That's normally how I work. But you get all that stats in front of you. That really hurts the Michigan defense. But the passing defense of Michigan was disgusting. If you're going to try to beat somebody, you need to have a good passing game. You need to have literally everything on your side. And they did not commit to that. The defense wasn't there. If you're going to play against a good Oregon defense, you're going to have to step up your game, because I can tell you right now, judged by the way they played, Oregon's going to either throw a short passing game, and they're going to run right all over the passing game's they're going to spread the defense out thin and wide, then the running game will be there. And the safety, which was when the final passing touchdown, the safety was more, they thought it would be a running play, which I give them credit, they probably thought it would be. The wide receiver over there on the far right, picked up the quarterback, saw that it was more of a blitz play. And the blitz was coming, no doubt. Blitz was coming. He did the blitz, left his wide receiver wide open. Busted coverage. Caught the pass, end zone touchdown. Puts USC ahead. Now, USC had plenty of opportunity to take time off the clock. Make the clock work on their side. And they just about did. All they had to do was work that clock, but they didn't. They didn't work the clock on their side. They took too much. They didn't work the clock. They were too fast. And the fourth quarter there at the very end. They were too fast. USC was literally working too fast for themselves. Now, Michigan, on the other hand, they almost ended the game too quickly for themselves. I mean, they literally killed themselves there at the very end. Now, don't get me wrong. If it hadn't been for that pick six there by Will Johnson, game over. Michigan would have lost that game. Michigan would have lost that blocked extra point. You take away that touchdown, you take away that pick six, it's 24-20. That would have been the final score. Michigan was way ahead. USC's already way ahead, 24. 24-14. Michigan's already ahead. You can't really take away that play. It's literally how you perceive the game of a pick six. If he would have used his brain a little wiser and threw the ball over his head a little more, made that an incomplete pass, end of game. Michigan controlled the first half literally constantly. That 63-yard gain there in the fourth quarter changed the perception of the entire game. 9 total yards in the second half for Michigan until then. It's like reverse psychology the entire game. Now, when Michigan travels and plays some of these better teams on the road, I don't know what you would call that. That's one question that's still going to be on everyone's mind. Yes, this was a quality win for Michigan. It was a pretty good upset. An upset victory. At home against a top 12 team. Because right now, the main question is, does Michigan have what it takes to win it all? Because I'm not questioning Michigan's chances of victories. But the question is, does Michigan have literally what it takes to win big games? Like against powerhouses like Michigan, like Michigan State, or Ohio State, or other improving teams. That's the question we have here. In Oregon, that's the question we have here. In Washington, they gotta travel to Washington and play there. That's even a tougher environment. That's almost as tough as Ohio State and Penn State. 2 tough environments to play at. Do you have what it takes to win there? Those are questions that you gotta ask yourself if you're one of the Michigan fans, the way you played against USC. If you play like you do in the second half against Washington and Ohio State, you're not gonna win. There's no way you're gonna win that game. Now, on the flip side of that, if you're Ohio State, yeah, Ohio State gave up a play, but then Ohio State flipped the script real quickly. A handoff to Jenkins, and he ran it all the way down for literally 70 yards or something like that. Touchdown, tie game. Ohio State's next drive. But hats off to Marshall. They played a very good game. Ohio State literally put the pressure on Michigan to prepare this game. I mean, they literally were lights out and ready. Now, that seems like it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good game. Now, we all know how that went. Iowa, on the other hand, But they win. They went in and dominated a very talented Minnesota team, 31-14 at third place. So now the question is, how good are they going to be? Well, they rest a whole week to prepare for Ohio State. Now, Oregon, now we'll just have to see how Oregon will play out and see how that perceives. But now Ohio State's got to travel to Michigan State after Michigan State's heartbreaking defeat of 23-19, so you know they're going to have a chip on their shoulder when we travel to their place, so that's going to be an interesting game. So when we travel there, that's going to be a very tough environment. That's going to be a tough environment to play in. It's always tough to win there. I mean, it's not necessarily, it's always a tough environment to win there. But we've had games where we literally almost lost there, and then Iowa's always a tough environment, but we haven't. But then when we get Iowa, the man, the myth, the legend, who literally turned Michigan around, Caden McNamara, who jumped on the transfer portal when J.J. McCarthy was named quarterback after Hawaii, and then he jumped on the transfer portal and was named quarterback. He pretty much changed the perception of. He pretty much went to Iowa, waited out a year, and then he became quarterback after that. So that pretty much just sums up how Michigan and Ohio State is going to perceive this year. So how Iowa. So it's pretty much almost like you're looking at a Michigan and Ohio State again, but it's Iowa versus Ohio State. So, but Iowa's got a whole week to prepare for Ohio State. So it's going to be interesting. Now, a 49-14 win for Ohio State is impressive. They pretty much played like they did against, like Oregon played against Oregon State, but they put up some good numbers against Marshall, excuse me. Think about Oregon State. Now, those are some teams, that's going to be some good games to keep coming up. Now, hit the like button, hit the bell for notifications. With that being said, I'm out of here. I'll be back a little later to talk to you about the rankings. With that being said, I'm out of here. Peace.